Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to the last, I know it's taken a while, last Ravenloft review of 2023. This one took forever. Just get that right out. Took forever to read through, but as fate would have it, this was my favorite of the year. Thoughts of Darkness. Yes, that is a kick-ass Mind Flayer in all his freaking glory right there on the cover. This one was for 4 to 6 players, characters level 12 to 15, and man, this one did not disappoint. There have been some stinkers, I'm not going to lie, out of all the ones I reviewed, but this one easily my favorite. Not just because it's high level, but that plays a big part for me. Tired of all the mud sorting sort of zero to hero nonsense. I've done it 1,000 times, and mind you, even though this is second edition, this one was just like just lots and lots of challenges. The fact that it's Mind Flayers, right off the bat, it says a lot. I mean, Mind Flayers, as we all know, some of the scariest creatures in the monster manuals, even to this day. The module comes with a big-ass 60-page book. I'll get into that in a minute. It's got a couple of, traditional maps of the area. And then it comes with this big, giant fold-out map. I wish the last module... Actually, excuse me, it's two big old fold-out maps. These ones are kind of unusual in the way they printed them, having been in the printing business. It's many sheets. Oops, it's upside down. Let's do it right. Many sheets in this format, and I guess because of reasons of the time, it's only half of the larger map. But I like it. It's not gridded out because the areas are just so vast. These caverns and giant chambers and caverns and tunnels and all that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love it. Now, when I say this one's got everything, I mean it's got everything. This is a comedy and tragedy of sorts. The comedy is a little more, subdued, as in you're going to have to pull it out if you really want to, get some good jokes or some, comedic relief here and there to break up what is an otherwise just devastating, horrific situation that the players are drawn into. The NPCs have all kinds of nuances that really, if played right, are going to be some of the most memorable NPCs you will ever run. And that alone is for me, that's a huge thing. If you can really get the players to feel for these NPCs and want to help them out and, do all the right things, you're going to love this adventure. Right off the bat, I want to find something here. Now, my copy has been underlined extensively, which I actually find a little charming, as it being part of my collection, someone else. I know there's folks out there that hate that. Oh, it's not mint. I don't want it. It's a stinky, smelly old book. No. I love that. I love that whole idea. It's full of not just Mind Flayers, but a crap ton of drow. There's a really interesting bad guy by the name of Bone Spur, who reminds me of the Outrider from Venture Brothers so much. He pops in and out on his nightmare, at the worst possible moments. He just comes in and just, smacks somebody in the party down, with full force. But, drow fighters with, 93 hit points each, and there's 10 of them in this one encounter, with a bunch of, that's 10 drow fighters, then 2 drow mages, and I don't know what happened, but all the XP rewards are here, and 10 drow fighters, you defeat 10 drow fighters, you're getting 10 grand XP per drow that you take out. That's fantastic. Mind you, you're dealing with characters who are needing hundreds of thousands of XP per level, but I mean, you could easily, rack up like 2 levels in this adventure, and if you're 9th to 12th level and suddenly you're like 11th to 14th, 15th level by the end of this, that's where it starts getting great. That's when you get to, start really, doing the domain play and the bigger more important adventures. I love that. All the spells listed. Bone Spur himself is worth, a good 10 grand experience points himself. But I was looking for one of the standard Mind Flayer encounters, because there are a crap ton of them. You're not going to just run into like 2d6 Mind Flayers. You're going to be running into scores and scores of Mind Flayers. Here's some Stone Giants. The average Mind Flayer, 55 hit points. But with that Psionic Blast in a group of 10 Mind Flayers, that's potentially a total party kill in just about any other situation. But here, you're going to do that like a dozen times. Nightmares are going to be the orcs of this adventure, and all it takes is one Mind Flayer with his blast. You're taking out maybe half the party. They're just all jacked up from their psychic blast and their other psionic abilities. It's just a phenomenal adventure. The only issue is treasure. If my party knocks out a group of 10 Mind Flayers and they're able to loot them, rifle through their pockets and look for loose change, that sort of thing, they're going to be walking away with some gear, some magic items, some kick-ass gems, things like that. I'm not going to saddle them up with hundreds of thousands of coins over the course of an adventure. That just seems kind of dumb in my opinion. But I mean, they're definitely going to have gems and jewelry, and that is the kind of treasure I like to hand out more than just sacks and sacks of gold that they can't even carry because of the weight. Portable holes and bags of holding nonsense. I'd rather they just have a good satchel, Conan style, full of just a king's ransom and gems and jewels, and then they that itself creates another adventure later on, trying to find a fence or someone willing to give them their value, a fair trade-off for their loot, or maybe they just wait till they get back to the real world and get out of the domains of dread. But there's virtually like no treasure listed, and I know that if you were to go through even the second edition wimped out version of the treasure tables, they would be walking out with more goodies than any other module I can think of, because just by the basic percentages of the treasure table, they would be walking out with a ton of stuff. So the only thing I would say is, if you're going to do this, don't cheat the party. They deserve they deserve a fair reward for this mission, because when all is said and done, and they get to the end and they do all the things, and they've played to the best of their ability, and maybe even fought the big bad vampire at the end. Not saying they're going to kill her, but if they defeat her, it's 13,000 XP. Of course, she's going to puff a smoke or whatever, and get the heck out of Dodge. But don't wimp out on them. Don't be the tightwad DM that I'm always railing against. I hate that. I'm actually going to do a video on that, maybe by the end of the week, on treasure and why it's so very, very important. The players deserve fair compensation, not just that tired old trope of, well, the adventure is its own reward. Horse shit. Pay them. Make it worth their while, or you're going to lose them. But I'm going to go into that more. But if you want to really challenge the heck out of them, you've got that group that's been struggling and doing the things and righting wrongs and being the big damn heroes for 12 or more levels. Make it worth their while, or you're going to find out that they're going to find another GM, another table, another game even, when this one was stellar. This one was just, in a word, hardcore. This is one of the greatest adventures I've ever come across. Mind you, White Plume Mountain and Arduin's Caliban will always be number one. But I could easily put this one at number 4 or 5 in the most epic adventures I've read. If you're up to it, not everybody's skill level would allow them to run an adventure for characters up to 15th level, especially in second edition. First edition probably be even harder, but probably more rewarding in the long run. and I don't just mean treasure, I mean in the overall experience. This one was epic, and I'm so glad, the fates allowed me to read this one as my last adventure of Ravenloft for the year. I know it took me a little bit longer than I'd hoped, but maybe I need to start drinking coffee or something, because every time I go to read a book, 5 pages in, I am in slumberland. You guys got a tip for that? Please post it in the comment section, because I picked up a lot of books over the course of this month, and I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to read them, but that's going to be at the very least at the top of my New Year's resolutions, seeing as how we're only a couple of weeks away from the big holidays. I hope you guys have a great holiday this year, whatever you celebrate, whatever holidays you participate in. I hope they're fantastic, and I hope you get a chance to run Thoughts of Darkness. This one was just out of this world, crazy, gonzo, hardcore, and tragic. I can't recommend this one enough. Great way to end this series. And if you're curious, next week, provided I don't fall into a coma from reading it, I am going to review the 1980s, maybe 90s box set of Hollow Earth. Just fair warning, I'm 30 pages in, and do I have some things to say about it? But we'll save that for probably next week, because I want to get as much of it done, of it read before. It'll probably be a 2-parter, but you'll probably, after the first part, just be like, okay, Shadow, we get it. Not a fan. But there are some things I do like about it, so hopefully you'll stay tuned. And if you've ever played it, or if you played Thoughts of Darkness, or like I asked before, if you've got some Ravenloft modules you'd like to hear my opinions on, please put them in the comment section. I will be sure to grab them over the course of the next year, so that next October I'll be primed and ready with a whole nother Ravenloft series, because I'm done. I had a lot of fun reading Ravenloft, and I can't wait to read some more, but I'm going to save it for next year, because I've got a whole bunch of brand new things I want to talk about over the course of this month and going into the next new year, which I know is going to be a stellar year. Don't let the naysayers get you down. Don't let the news get you down. It's going to be a great year. But before we get there, let's kick off and say goodnight to 2023 with a hell of a bang. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Thank you so much for everything, all your kind words in the comment sections over the last month, especially Omen. I don't know where that came from, but believe it or not, that came in just the right moment. I really appreciate that. You got something magic going on. I don't know. Maybe hang out with the Quantum Show a little more often. Just saying. But everybody else, love you guys. Have a great afternoon. I will see you guys before the end of the week. So until then, and as always, happy trails.